the baddest woman on the planet and the boss of WWE. Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey go head-to-head in Mortal Kombat. For you see, shocking everybody, after a year of wrestling women like Alexa Bliss and basically Nia Jax multiple times, everyone was hoping for something different. Everyone wanted to see Ronda Rousey to fight Ember Moon, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair even. And when they finally gave us Charlotte Flair, that was only because of happenstance following Nia Jax somehow getting a push for breaking Becky Lynch's face, because that makes perfect sense. And yeah. So heading into this storyline, this mainly was focusing teasing of the 4 Horsewomen war that's going to happen, and once it does, it will be apocalyptic, because the idea of 4 horsewomen, if the biblical passages are correct, if we ever saw 4 horsemen and horsewomen fight one another, it will spell the end of all times. Though, of course, that is the Old Testament. It's not considered canon in the Bible, I think, but I'm not religious, so I don't know. But moving on from the Old Testament versus New Testament philosophy. Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey had this vendetta going against one another, because there has been a somewhat of a story between them, even dating before this match, where Sasha had said in interviews she had nothing nice to say about Ronda Rousey being in WWE, and then some imbecile on the internet decided to go ahead and twist the audio footage around to make it sound like she was attacking homosexuals, because that makes sense. Seriously, I don't get that motive. So yeah, everyone was really wanting to see this match, especially. I'm still hoping for my dream match of Ember Moon versus Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey, and we'll get that, I hope, and so long it doesn't involve with Charlotte trying to insert herself in, because Charlotte is the goddess of WWE according to Vince McMahon, since she's a very well-known name from her family lineage, and the fact that in Vince's mind, she's blonde, therefore she's cool. Yeah, I don't blame any of the women who have blonde hair. I don't fault them for anything, because they were born with that or they just live with it. Vince, however, I'm disturbed by his weird obsession favoring the women who just happen to have blonde hair. Like, I could make a joke about this, but we already saw what happened the last time someone made a joke regarding someone with blonde hair. It did not end well for YouTube so far. And it's one of the reasons why I'm no longer making money off making any supplement income from this. Because the media had to take advantage of stupidity and not look at context of jokes. But moving on from the apocalypse disaster that followed from certain jokes. Emphasis on jokes. We finally get this match after Jax lost to Sasha Banks in a terrible #1 contendership match. Yeah, that match was just terrible. So much botching going on with Nia. It's like, how did she get pushed again? And it can't be because she's The Rock's cousin. She's related to The Rock. Everyone heard that story, song and dance. But at least Roman had, the ability to carry a good match. Yes, I know what I said. Don't at me with this. But Nia, she just botches left and right, and I'm like, did they rush her way to development? Like, I kept hearing stories that maybe Triple H didn't want her called up, or that he didn't want certain people called up when the draft happened, but Vince said, fuck you, I'm gonna do it anyways. But anyways, yeah, following that, we continue to get Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks' war of attrition, and so far it results in Ronda having her first loss in WWE thanks to Natalya, because originally they were going to do Natalya versus Ronda Rousey at one point, but then when Ronda Rousey's father died, they scrapped the heel turn plan because they knew it would be in bad taste. So, yeah. And so you get this wrestler versus mixed martial artist, and yeah. And apparently Banks had said that Ronda can't wrestle, and then she just screams out that, saying that she can't wrestle, then she'll show us how she can wrestle, and starts to do the suplex maneuver of Vila Eddie Guerrero. I miss him. but Banks counters the third and whatnot. They start countering submissions at each other because that's the thing I was expecting, a submission-based match, which also kept making me think that's what's going to happen when we get Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, right? And luckily, Sasha Banks did not screw up a suicide dive that could have endangered her life. I mean, like, it's not as bad as Brie Bella's, but I really blame Vince for that because he kept saying, "Okay, Brie, I need you to come back. For some reason, we got this show we want to promote. We got Evolution. I think you're the forefronters, besides my daughter, to be the forefront of this revolution. And I know you were pregnant and you're still trying to come out after having a baby, but I really don't care about you in terms of identity. I just need you because I have a delusional fantasy and retconning life." That's how booking works, right? But yeah, moving on from my disdain of that horrible idea that Vince did. Banks and Ronda, this was the basic. I would have loved if this was an ultimate submission match. I want to see Ronda start going more for than just like at best 10 to 12 minutes. I kind of want to start seeing Ronda fight for like 30 minutes, 20 minutes at best. And I would have loved it if they did an ultimate submission match. I haven't seen one in a long time, and it would have been spectacular if they did this. But I can understand because the show was 7 hours long if you had the pre-show. So I don't see that ever happening. Banks actually also tapped out in the match outside the ring, but it doesn't count because it's outside the ring. So it decided that, well, she's not tapped out, so she can still go. And Banks acted like a heel in this, like stomping the hand of Ronda every time when she got her in the Banks statement, dissecting the arm of Ronda Rousey. It's almost as if Sasha Banks is channeling her inner heel. I miss heel Sasha. Remember when she made Izzy cry? Those joys when we could boo her for being a villain. But WWE doesn't want her to be a villain for some reason. And it probably is because of the hair and look. But besides the fact that Vince might have a discriminatory policy against her, but let's move on. The fans were very split. They wanted Ronda to win, but they wanted Sasha to win. And really, no one knew where this was going to go. Also, I kind of don't like the name of Ronda's finisher, calling it Piper's Pit. Like, I guess she's basically inspired by Rowdy Piper. I mean, like, her name is Rowdy Ronda Rousey. It just, does everything need to be associated with legends when it comes to them? Like, everyone kind of laughed a little bit when they realized, oh dear God, this is the representation of Rowdy Piper and Eddie Guerrero. Like, I don't like that. Like, that really did kind of bug me a little bit. Like, why are these legends being so used in this whole match between two women who have nothing relating to them other than them being idols? It's just, like, eventually, like, Vince, remember when Vince decided to overuse the whole Sasha looks up to Eddie like it was almost family-like thing? I don't know. But yeah, it just felt like it was starting to become more over and over and over and over. But yeah, a lot of people did kind of laugh at that idea that Rowdy Piper and Eddie Guerrero are getting a dream match through Rowdy Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks. But yeah, this match was Ronda Rousey's best match to date, in my opinion. I'm looking forward to her later matches with Becky Lynch. Well, I could say Charlotte and Ronda Rousey was probably better from a perspective. I feel like that was more like a part one to a story that needed to be concluded first. So we'll see how their follow-up match, if they do get a follow-up match, and most likely will be that triple threat match that's rumored for WrestleMania, unfortunately. Because everything's got to be about Charlotte Reigns, right? But yeah, seeing these two finally go at it was like, oh my God, finally we're getting a match that will not be bad for Ronda to fight. Like, yeah, like, I also wanted to see Ronda take Stephanie on one-on-one instead of that tag team match we got. Well, that tag team match was the best match of the night, which should say something how bad they screwed up. WrestleMania, especially the added context now given following the WWE 24 documentary that pissed me off for so much I had to delay my video production. Fuck Brock Lesnar. So, yeah. Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey, that was a killing of a match. It was a barn burner match. It really gave more room for creativity for Ronda to use. And Sasha Banks, I'm pretty sure she was just finally happy. Like, finally, I'm not in tag team matches. This might be my one chance to go big or go home with this, or because then I'll be stuck in the tag team division of women wrestling forever with Bayley. Even though we should have had a feud, and it didn't happen because stupidity nonsense. Seriously, why can't they just do the match? What is so bad about Bayley and Sasha fighting? What is so bad about that? Please tell me, Vince, you already screwed up Bayley. You could have gave her a personality again and the aggressiveness when you turned her heel, but you didn't because everyone cheered for that, and you don't like good things happening for your talent because you don't have complete control. But, yeah, this might have been... I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but this might be Sasha Banks' last chance at being women's champion for possibly a long time, if not for a while, because they're introducing the women's tag team division for all brands. NXT is still on the up and up. But it's going to be interesting where this goes, where Sasha Banks goes. Ronda Rousey, I hope she defends. At least she's like way better than Brock Lesnar. Initially, everyone thought she was going to do a part-time schedule like Lesnar. But no, she actually said, no, screw that. I'm actually going to do as much as I can to be allowed to go ahead and wrestle at shows like I can, at the house shows, at the live events, at the TV productions. It's like... Is it sad that I like Ronda more than Brock Lesnar? Because at least Ronda cares, whereas Lesnar just looks like, I'm going to toss this Universal title that I've carried for so long and it's garbage to Vince and tell the company to get fucked. And then I'll be rewarded for it because I'm untouchable. I'm still mad about that, and that's only been 24 hours ago. So, yeah. I know I went off topic at some points, but like, yeah, Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks, it was a technical good match. It was filled with submission dramaticness. I would have been interested to see if they do Bayley versus Ronda Rousey. You know, like do a storyline for the next 2 months where Ronda Rousey goes ahead, defeats... she defeated Sasha Banks. She fights Charlotte once again after fighting Bayley at Elimination Chamber. And then like, or reverse that. We have Ronda Rousey defeat Sasha Banks at Royal Rumble. She fights Charlotte at Elimination Chamber. Then she fights Bayley at Fastlane. And then we get to WrestleMania where she fights Becky Lynch. She fights all of the 4 horsewomen and ultimately loses to Becky, hinting that they're saying that she's better than all of them. I'm pretty sure they would do that if they were trying to make us hate her, if they really overpushed it. But something does tell me when they kept throwing up the 4 horsewomen sign that we're going to get that match. They already started referring to the NXT division's women of Shayna Baszler and her fellow lackeys as the 4 horsewomen, and Ronda Rousey's on the main roster. So yeah, there's been word going around that Ronda Rousey is scheduled to leave after WrestleMania or a month or 2 afterwards because she wants to start a family, and then all of a sudden she got all mad about that. Like, if she had just said she doesn't, like, the rumors aren't true or screw the rumors and whatnot, then all of a sudden she kept talking about how no one controls her body and what she chooses to do with it, and I'm like, I don't think anyone was telling you to think that. No, honestly, that confused me. It was like, are you attacking the people who read these reports and ran with it? Or are you attacking anyone who tells you who tries to control your life? Because you're really confusing me here. So, yeah, clearly they're hinting this feud between these two aren't over, and it's going to most likely culminate in a 4 horsemen versus 4 horsewomen match, and I will look forward to that. If that does happen after WrestleMania, something does tell me that's when Ronda goes on break, so to speak, if the rumors are confirmed true later down the road. But it's going to be interesting where this goes from here. So, those were my thoughts on Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks at Royal Rumble 2019. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to hear for more.